Space. Perfect. Yeah. Let's actually see if that was good before we record an entire video. Are you nervous?
Very.
Just pretend that the camera lens is an all-seeing eye that will permanently record every single mistake that you make.
That helped nothing.
Space! This is Emily. Emily and I have been in astronomy class for the past year. We learned about space and space weather and space foxes, space enchiladas.
That was a big one.
That was a big one. We spent a lot of time on that. So today we are going to be talking about NASA and why NASA should get more funding. We had a debate on this in our astronomy class.
We won.
We kind of won.
We half won.
We half won. Like 2/3 won. Space. First question. Why should we waste money on space when we have plenty to worry about on Earth?
Okay, well, first of all, it's not wasting money at all, because all the money that we spend on NASA goes to incredible, efficient, well-run programs that only do good things. Even though it's really important to solve the problems that we have, we also have to focus on doing fundamentally good things. And I think NASA is one of those fundamental good things.
The way Hank Green put it is, we can't just decrease suck, we also have to increase awesome. And the thing about NASA is that it's one of the best organizations at doing both. Not only is it increasing awesome by doing things like exploring space and answering these questions that we don't have answers to, it's also developing technologies that increase awesome on Earth. So a lot of people say, we should be focusing on the fact that people don't have access to water. Well, NASA is responsible for the water filtration technology that is used everywhere to filter water.
I think what people don't realize is that a very large portion of NASA's work goes straight to Earth. Screening for breast cancer has been made incredibly less invasive.
Kidney dialysis machines.
Sunglasses.
That was a big one.
That's a huge one. Memory foam.
And yeah, the list goes on and on.
Pretty much every airplane you fly today only exists and is only as efficient as it is because of technology that NASA has developed.
NASA was like, well, we need more efficient solar panels, let's make them. And then they did, and now we use them.
Question number two,
moving right along. This is something that came up a bit during our debate. It's the government's job to represent the interests of the people. Many people don't care about NASA's work. Why can't private companies do the same work?
I'll start with the first part,
okay.
People not caring, which is not true. Public opinion over the years has been consistently in favor of NASA. People believe that it's one of the best run government agencies. People think that what it's doing is good, and people think that what it's doing is worth the money.
The problem is people consistently say NASA is doing a good or an excellent job, and they consistently say that things like the space station are a good investment.
Important.
Not only important, but also are good investments, are actually helping us in the long run. But people don't understand what NASA's doing. They have, they think, oh, they're just throwing stuff into space, which is not true. Although they do that sometimes, but it's good stuff, and they throw it really well. And that people consistently say, oh, well, NASA's already getting more than 50% of the budget. That's not true. NASA's getting less than 0.5% of the budget, and it is getting smaller. So things like that, if people understand what NASA does and how NASA does it and how little money they actually get, I can't really see a reason why anyone would not want to increase the money. And then you want to talk about the other part of the question?
Okay. This came up a lot in our debate. People said, this isn't the government's responsibility. Private companies can do that, such as SpaceX was one that came up a lot. So why is NASA doing anything at all? But guess what? Surprise! SpaceX only exists because NASA. SpaceX survives based on the fact that it's a profitable company. They make money so they can continue doing what they do. But they only make money because they're getting money from NASA. They're not funded specifically by NASA, but what happens is NASA pays them to carry things into space. And without NASA, no one else really wants to carry things into space, right now at least. And so no one would give them money, and they wouldn't function, they wouldn't survive.
Another point to address, we mentioned all the technologies that have come out of NASA. You could say, why can't someone else invent sunglasses for a change? And the thing is, what NASA does is it has 2 programs, I believe, that provide grants to small businesses and some larger businesses to develop these technologies. And then what happens is NASA gets those technologies, it can do amazing things with the technologies, and then the companies get economic benefits because they can then commercialize the product and eventually make money off of it. And studies have shown that companies that work with NASA end up making tons more money than they're given originally. They're given money and then they end up making this huge profit out of these things that they're creating. Third question.
Question number 3.
Last question. What are the actual benefits of NASA's work?
Okay, well, this is sort of a summary of the last 2 questions.
Yes.
There are the Earth benefits, and there are the fundamental, basic human understanding benefits, and I think they're each incredibly important, and I don't have a second thing.
They're super important. There are kind of two parts to this. First is what we've already talked about, the benefits to Earth. Amazing technology, things with like water filtration and food preservation technology. And that's
parachutes
all
and things that literally save actual lives.
Literally and actual.
This is real.
This is real life. And then there's also the fundamental benefits. So, you kind of have to wonder, and this is very much an opinion that I have, I believe you share,
yes.
and some people might disagree with, but we're right, so it doesn't matter. And that is that, the eventual goal of the human race, what we should be really striving for, in our opinion, is like answer questions like the questions that NASA is answering. Why are we here? What is the universe doing? What is going on in space?
What's the point of anything?
How do things work? And without NASA, nobody is answering these questions. We're not going to Mars and figuring out if Mars once held life or currently holds life, because no one else can do that. And NASA does it, and NASA does it well, and we should be supporting that, and we're not supporting that, so we should fix that. And then there's also things like economic benefits. For every $1 that NASA spends on research and development, over 18 years they get somewhere between $5 and $10 back. So you're not losing money. There's really no reason not to spend money on NASA.
Space!
Actual point. This is as a result of the sequester. NASA's funding was recently cut by, I think it's like $1.2 billion, which is significant because they only get like $17 billion. And as a result of that, they have had to suspend all education and outreach programs, every single thing. Like, that is incredibly bad, because that is how you get people interested in things like this. That is how you get stuff done, promote jobs in STEM fields.
It's how you inspire people.
And we're not doing that now, and that's a problem that we should fix. So what should you do? There'll be a number of links either on our faces right now or somewhere else. Get all the links. And you should check them out. There's things like Penny for NASA, which is trying to get NASA's budget raised to 1% of the federal budget, which is not incredibly like a crazy idea or anything, because it was above 1%. So you're basically buying the future for a penny. So think about that. Chew on that. Space! And then we just go down, and there's the moon. Yay! We did it!
We live in space
with other countries.
With other countries.
Guys, we're in space with other countries.
That's crazy.